Hey, welcome back everyone. Today I want to talk about catching fish in deep water. What I'll do is first thing I do is I like to look on the internet, see if I can find any charts or mapping on a lake or reservoir I want to fish. Otherwise I'll use my graph and just look on my fish finder and check the lake and see if I can find some humps that come up out of deep water. And here you can see I found one on this reservoir. There's actually quite a few of them, but see where I have a waypoint there? That comes up from like 30, 30 feet or so up to like 10 feet. So what I'm doing is I'm staying off the hump a little bit at this point. I want to cast up to it. I don't want to disturb it at first, so I'll kind of fish all the way around it. In this case, I had figured out that the vegetation that I'm looking for is in like the 15-foot range. If you look on my graph right now, you can see where I'm kind of drifting over some of that area, but it's about 15 feet or so. And usually what I'll do is I'll work my way up to it. In this case, I kind of got over some of it, but I'm going around it, the hump itself, and I'm trying to fish in those weeds or through those weeds. They're kind of isolated weeds. It's not completely covered. Earlier in the season, it was covered on top of the hump. Now the weeds had died off a little bit, and you're finding the weeds in like 15 feet of water, and that's kind of what I'm fishing. Now, if I was fishing a lake that had humps, or even areas that come up, not necessarily a hump, but maybe more like a flat from deep water to a little bit shallower, and then it drops off again on the other side, but there's no vegetation, I look for rocks. Individual boulders, a cluster of rocks, things like that, and I'll check and see if there's fish on them. A lot of times if the fish is right tight, you don't see them, so I'll still fish that area and see if I can find anything. In this case, I found that a worm was working really good coming through that vegetation. I tried a creature bait that was hanging up a little bit, but still worked. I tried chatterbaits, tried a few different things, and the worm seemed to produce the best. I was switching from a smaller worm to a bigger worm. Didn't seem like it really mattered too much. I had hooked one fish right off the bat, and it was a short-lived fight. I mean, I set the hook, and it broke my line instantly. So I'm not sure if it was a big bass or a pike. There's a lot of pike in this reservoir that I'm fishing, so it could have been a pike. And it was a bigger worm, so. But I didn't catch any big ones. A lot of them just fun fish to catch. Now, if I'm largemouth fishing, I'll use obviously plastic worms, sometimes swim baits if I can get them through there, creature baits, Texas rig and Carolina rigs mainly. Sometimes I'll fish a crankbait. I hate crankbaits, but there's times where it's just going to be the best bait to use. So I was shallow enough where I could fish a deeper diver crankbait, but I didn't have any with me. The chatterbait just didn't produce very well. If I'm fishing a area where there's not a lot of vegetation, but there's a lot of smallmouth, obviously then I'm going to a drop shot and a tube as my number one baits. I'll fish, I like the shad shaped worm, the Z2s or the Z-Man. I like flatworms. Those are probably my three main ones for smallmouth. I like the mare and also Kitech swim baits. Here I'm obviously fishing largemouth because that's all I'm catching. They don't have smallmouth in here, but you can see I kind of got off that hump quite a bit now, so now I'm casting up to it. I'm actually casting from deep water, probably 20 feet up to 10 feet. Trying to work it off that a little bit. Trying to stay off it. The wind was blowing me kind of, it doesn't look very windy, but it is. Smallmouth, usually I'm fishing like this time of year in the summertime, you're fishing 20, 30, 40 feet sometimes. So there I don't worry too much about it. I can almost get right over them drop shotting. But the largemouth and where I'm at, you know, the water comes up to like out of 40 feet to 10 feet. I didn't want to get right on top of that. Now, had it been earlier in the season, there was a lot of vegetation on top of this hump, so I probably would have been in that 15 feet of water casting up to the hump. But now occasionally I got right on top of the hump and just cast it all the way around, fan cast it all the way around to vegetation. I didn't have the forward-facing sonar on or with me, so I can't really see the fish unless I get over them. Here again, you can see.
You can see we're on another hump.
My kayak.
And I just caught a fish there.
And there's actually multiple.
Hopefully there's a couple more here.
While I was here, I have like 3 or 4 main ones that I fished. I didn't really even try fishing shallow. I know the fish will stage on the edges and come up like maybe in the morning or the evenings up on these humps and feed a little bit. So I just concentrated on that. If I was fishing smallmouth, a lot of times, like I said, if I'll also fish points, which are similar in the sense that you have shallow water going to deep water. Not quite the same as being out in the middle of nowhere with a hump, but a lot of places don't have humps, so then you have to fish those points. Well, in the mornings and the evenings, I'll fish those quite a bit, the points also, because the fish like to come up to them. And that doesn't matter if it's smallmouth or largemouth, they'll come up there to feed or just, especially in the summer. I don't usually fish real shallow in the summer unless it's early or late in the day. The fish will move up to feed. Nighttime's also a good time to bass fish. I just don't do it too often. So basically that's how I break it down. I'll look at maps and figure out areas that I want to fish when I get there. If I go to a lake I've never been to, I turn on my graph and just start looking at the charts and figuring out areas I want to try. And hopefully one of those areas or all of them produce fish. And this really pertains just to deep water places. I mean, obviously if your deep water's 10 feet, you know, if you can find some variation there, it might work on the same basis, but we're talking here where it's like 30, 40, 50 feet water depths humping up or coming up to a shallow area. I know we fished a tournament on this lake a while back, and there was only 2 of us that actually fished out here. Everybody else fished the shoreline, and the other guy and I, we were the ones that did the best in the tournament, fishing these deeper water humps. I don't think anybody else really either didn't know about them or didn't feel comfortable fishing them, so they fished the shorelines.
Get right up right place.
A lot of times some of the biggest fish, especially in the summer, come off these areas. And even in the fall and spring, you know, it's just a good spot to check out no matter where you're at. But if I come to a lake I've never been to and I see this, that's one of the first things I'll gravitate to. I'll go right to, you know, an area that jumps up out of deep water.
Oh, my warm-up, you little bugger.
I hope that helps you. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section, and I'll get back to you.
Sure. I got like a 5 or 6 out hook and a big worm and catching little fish. See how to that, huh?
This was kind of cool too. This happened quite a few times throughout the day where I would miss the fish, but I would immediately drop it back down, shake it a couple times, and they'd pick it right back up. So I don't know if there were multiple fish trying to get the bait, or that same fish was just so aggressive that they picked it up right after I missed it.
A little bit of fish there.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.
We just want to cut so far today. Big, but doing nothing. I'll take them.